Welcome to episode 2 of Scottish Digest. In this episode, we will be speaking to Stefanie from the podcast Scottish and Scared, who will be talking to us about her favourite places in Scotland, being Cromarty and Millport. Stefanie is the host of the podcast Scottish and Scared, where she discusses everything from haunted castles to ghost stories and mythological creatures from across Scotland. So if you're interested in Scottish history, horror, or just love a good ghost story, this is the podcast for you.
So today, my lovelies, we are back in the wonderful city of Edinburgh. We are going to be talking about the Edinburgh Vaults. You may have heard of them before. They've been investigated by Ghost Adventures, Most Haunted, and we all know how I feel about those shows. But yes, they are renowned for being extremely haunted and are open to the public for tours. I myself have been on a tour of the vaults and had what I would consider a very strange experience. So I'll tell you all about that later on in the show.
Hiya, Stefanie. It's really great to have you on the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely great. How are you?
I'm really good. Pleased to be speaking to you again. It's been a year since I've last seen you. Mind it was we were at the ghost hunt was the last time I've seen you. That was about this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe that's been a year. It doesn't feel like a year. This entire year, I just think I'm like, it's November. What? It was nearly December.
I know. Aye. So, Steph, before we talk about your favourite places in Scotland, can you just tell us a bit about you and Scottish and Scared?
Yep, so I'm Stefanie. I'm the host of the Scottish and Scared podcast, and it is just a podcast talking about Scottish history, Scottish folklore, Scottish myths, legends, ghost stories, haunted castles, all the creepy stuff that people want to know about Scotland. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's about all that kind of stuff. So if you like ghost stories or you just like history, it's probably a good podcast for you to listen to.
And you've got a great accent as well, so that's nice to listen to as well.
I've got a niche.
You do. Brilliant. So, you've a couple of places you want to talk about today, isn't there? So can you tell us what's your first favourite place that you like to visit and why?
So my first favourite place is the wee village of Cromarty. And it is about a 4-hour drive from Glasgow, so that's where I live. So it's about a 4-hour drive north of Glasgow. The drive alone is beautiful. You go through Glencoe and stuff, you get to see the mountains, the wildlife. It's honestly really, really stunning. We decided to go there last year in the summer when Scotland had that really nice summer. And we just decided to go see some places in Scotland that we've been talking about. I think it's a bit different actually getting the vibe of the place rather than just looking at pictures and stuff. Yep. So one of the places that my cousin had researched was a place called the Pirates Graveyard. Mm-hmm. So we weren't actually sure where it was. We just knew it was called the Pirates Graveyard. Looked into it a wee bit more, seen that it was in Cromarty, and then just decided to go. So like I say, it's about...
You'd never been to Cromarty before, had you? Because I'd not even heard of it until you said.
No, I was exactly the same. I'd never really heard of it. I'd never even really heard of the Black Isle either, because it's located on the eastern point of the Black Isle. I'd never even heard of that.
Neither had I. I'm ashamed to say. I was like, that's all right.
I know, it's shameful. But yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive north of Glasgow, like I say. And it's one of the wee villages where it's like one road in, one road out. And it's very off the beaten path. It's big winding country road. So again, it's a beautiful drive. But it's a really small, like 18th century kind of village. And it's only got a population of about 700. So that's not a lot, considering me coming to the big city of Glasgow is like, what?
No, everybody will know everybody's business.
Definitely. Well, definitely. When we got there and people were staring quite a bit, so...
And they're friendly, because obviously Scottish people are always friendly, so
yeah,
they're nice, welcoming.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were just driving by the cars just staring at me, but I mean, I do look a bit like, what is that walking over there? In the best way possible,
Hey, Stefanie. What do you mean? You got your tattoos, haven't you? Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, because it was the height of the summer, so obviously you have
Aye.
everything out that people don't usually see. So everybody was a bit like, "Oh, what's that?"
And you like to wear, you like to be like Halloween, don't you? Because you were going to do a Halloween party, and I said, "Oh, I don't know what I'll dress up as," and you said, "I always look like Halloween."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think of people that know me would class me as goth, but I mean, I'm just Halloween is my aesthetic, really. Halloween and
I
horror
like.
movies.
Oh, I like that. But so tell us a wee what was it like? So it was just this one street going in and out.
So it was one road going in, and then you'll know when you get to the village because it's you'll see there's an oil rig just like off the coast, like this huge big oil rig. I spoke to my dad about it because my dad knows a lot about all that kind of stuff, and he said that that's kind of where they go when they get like decommissioned and stuff. So
Ah,
you'll see them like just out in the water. So you'll see them first, and then you'll obviously see the village. But there's like a small wee car park just as you pull in. So if you just pull into the car park, that's what we did, and then we just got out and kind of explored a wee bit. But it's a really beautiful wee village. There's a lot of mix of like different buildings. There's townhouses, like really grand looking townhouses, and then you've got like small cottages. You've got thatched roof cottages, and then you've got like wee fisherman cottages that are all like painted different colours. So it's just a really beautiful place to just wander about and have a wee look.
all right, mix. So where did you go? What did you see when you were there then?
So we were looking for the pirates' graveyard, but we couldn't actually see it on a map because it's not called the pirates' graveyard. It's actually called St Regulus's graveyard, so we didn't know that. So we were walking about this town. We didn't want to ask anybody because we didn't want to look weird. Why are they looking for the
Tourists.
graveyard? So we just kind of explored a wee bit. There was just loads of shops and stuff. And there was a courthouse in the middle of the village that we thought was a church because it kind of looks quite church-like. So we just thought, oh well, there must be a graveyard here somewhere. So we went into this like back path behind this big grand courthouse, and we walked up this big massive hill, and it was roasting. But we did get to the top of it. The graveyard wasn't there, but there was another graveyard at the top, and I don't know if there's war memorials and stuff there. But it's just loads and loads and loads of graves. There's like it looks like it used to be an old chapel or something, and it's like ruined now, but it's really beautiful. I took some pictures of it and stuff. And then we had to walk all the way back to the village to find out where this graveyard was. But if you walk to the end, if you're in the middle of the village and you walk to the end of Church Street, you'll find there's a wee church called East Church. And it's got a cemetery as well, and it's a really beautiful cemetery. There's loads of like, it's just very that vibe where there's loads of overgrown trees, grass, the graves are all mossy and stuff like that. So that's a really beautiful wee cemetery. If you're into that kind of thing, you can go in there. I think you can actually go into the church as well. I think it's like one of the first Presbyterian churches that was ever built in Scotland or something like that.
Is that
but you can find.
Is that the church that you've sent? Because you sent me a lot of photos. Is that the one with the wee steeple at the front of it? Is that...
No, that's the courthouse.
Oh, that's the
courthouse. We thought was a church, but this church is a wee bit further down. But again, I think you can go inside and you can do tours and stuff, and they'll tell you about all the different history and stuff. But because we were there for one thing, we didn't really look at a lot of stuff. We just were there to do that one thing.
Yeah.
But eventually, we asked. We went into a wee pub that was in the middle of the village and asked the bar maid, and she was like, "Oh no, it's here." So if you're looking for it and you're in the middle of the village, you want to just walk straight to the bowling green. There's like a bowling green on the far side of the village. And once you see the bowling green, there's like this really big hill, really steep hill. There's not a lot of signage, but if you just follow the hill, you'll come to this like really eerie looking tunnel, and it's got a locked gate on it and stuff like that. It's really dark. It looks really scary. That's the servants' tunnel. And that actually leads to Cromarty House, but it's obviously not in use anymore, so it's all kind of like gated up, but it's very creepy. It's supposed to be haunted as well, so we took a lot of pictures of that as well.
You can't get close to it because I love these old scary places.
Yeah.
You can't get close to it at all.
I'm not sure if you can go to Cromarty House, if you can go there. We never really looked at it that much, but I know that tunnel's there, so if you're looking for the graveyard, once you see the tunnel on your right, there's like a small like stony staircase to your left. It's really hard to miss because it's just in between all the bushes and stuff, but if you follow that wee staircase, it will take you into the pirates' graveyard. So that's we've eventually got there, sweating, warm, moaning.
So is it okay? I'm going to ask a stupid question. Is it called the Pirates' Graveyard because it's pirates that are buried there?
Well,
what's the story?
funnily enough, there are no pirates buried there.
Okay.
But the reason that it's called the Pirates' Graveyard is because I would say like 80% of the graves in there, they have Memento Mori carved onto them. If you don't know what Memento Mori is, it is just this kind of like artistic trope that you usually see on like really medieval graves. You can sometimes see it on masonry, you sometimes see it in art and stuff like that, but it almost always has skull and crossbones. You'll have seen the skull and crossbones probably in Edinburgh graveyards and stuff.
Oh, I can see it on one of them. I'm looking at it. I can see the skull and crossbones.
Yeah, so you usually Memento Mori will always have a skull and crossbones, and that just kind of symbolises the inevitability of death. But can sometimes they include other symbols as well, like hourglasses and bells and stuff like that. It just depends what kind of person designed it and stuff. But obviously, Memento Mori is Latin for remember you will die, so that's why this graveyard is called the Pirates' Graveyard, just because of all the skull and crossbones. But it's quite fitting though, because when you're in that graveyard, it's on like a steep hill, and it looks out onto the ocean, so it's like very like Pirates of the Caribbean.
So is this the picture? Because I know you've got a couple of places. So is the street? I'm looking. Is it right by the water? I'm looking at the pictures you've sent me. Is it got a beach?
Right by. Yeah, Cromarty's got a beach. It's a beach, right? The entire village is basically on the waterfront, so you can walk along the entire village, majority of it on the water.
Hey, it looks really nice. It looks beautiful day you had.
It is. It's a really stunning place. I really like to go back. Like I say, they do loads of stuff that we never even knew that they did. They do like wildlife tours. You can see dolphins and stuff. They have a cinema. They have like loads and loads and loads of stuff today. So it's definitely worth a wee drive in the summer.
It's not scorching hot and not wearing a big black jacket.
No,
in the summer.
No. But we went to once we had our adventure and stuff, we went into the Fishertown Inn as well, which was just like a wee local pub that just did like really simple comfort pub food, and it was really really nice. It was like cosy. The bartender came over, the owner came over on Saturdays and spoke to us and stuff. So it's a really nice, welcoming place. So yeah, highly recommend.
And it's not sort of a tourist destination, is it? I mean, like I said, I hadn't heard of it before. You hadn't. It's not. Was it busy when you got there? Were you seeing a lot of tourists?
There was a lot of cars in the car park, but it wasn't busy. Like you could walk and see somebody for a couple of minutes. It wasn't like pandemonium or anything. It's not like air or something like that during the summer. So it is I think that's due to the fact that it's like a 4-hour drive for Glasgow. So, but it is really really stunning, really really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And it's not far from Inverness. It's about 40-minute drive from Inverness, I think. So
yeah,
it's not that off the beaten track. Or is it? Is it wee roads you're on? Or
yeah, it's like big open fields, just like grass and trees and stuff, like on the way in. It's just like a country road, but it's very open. There's loads of like fields, and there's like a wee place you can stop just before you get to Cromarty, and it's like a wee, those vending machines you see sometimes that sell like vegetables and eggs and milk. There's one of them.
Weird that. When I found out about that, I'm like, what? In a vending machine?
We bought potatoes out of it.
And did you stay over, or did you just stay for the day, a few hours?
No, we just went for the day. We just went to take a few pictures and look into it a wee bit, speak to some of the people that were there. The people are really, like, if you have any questions or anything, like, we asked about, in the Pirates' Graveyard, there's like a slope in the middle that you can walk down, and there's a crypt at the bottom of it, and you can go inside it, and there's like 4 graves inside it, like really small ones. And it was a bit odd, and we asked obviously what it was, and apparently there used to be like a chapel on top of it that's obviously no longer there. So like, just you can ask people; they're no like, oh god, tourists. They're quite happy to just sit and have a wee chat with you and talk about stuff, and so I really enjoyed it.
It sounds lovely. I like that. I'm going by the pictures. It looks beautiful. And didn't even know it existed.
Neither did we.
All right then, so tell us about your second place.
So My second favourite place is the famous Millport. It's my favourite because as a kid, I think a lot of people my age that are from here, we have a great aunt and a great uncle who don't have kids, so they just treated us like their kids, and they used to take us to Millport like every second weekend or something like that, especially during the summer. So we spent a lot of our summers on Millport, like doing the bike rides and Crocodile Rock and all that kind of stuff.
First of all, tell us how far away from Glasgow is that then? How long did it take you to get there? Because it's over the ferry, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I've not been in a very long time. I know that it's obviously you get the ferry from Largs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how long it is from Glasgow to Largs. I'm terrible with distances, by the way. Miles I've lost on me, no idea. But you get to Largs and then you get the ferry for Largs to Millport, but I'm not really sure how long that entire distance is.
And it's another place I didn't know about at all. I didn't know it was an island. I didn't know it was near Arran, because I covered a case of my other podcast on Arran, and I didn't, no idea. So it was just like, oh, I like this place. So tell us, you mentioned it, the Crocodile Rock. Tell us about the Crocodile Rock.
I'm not going to be as fully information as I was about Cromarty, just because it is a childhoody place, so I don't really know much about it. But yeah, on the beach in Millport, there's this kind of rock that kind of protrudes from the water, and somebody painted it. I don't know how long ago, but it was there when I was a kid, and that was like 20 years ago. But they painted it to look like a crocodile. So it gets called Crocodile Rock, but when the tide's out, it's like fully out of the water. You can climb on it, you can sit. We've got loads of. I'll need to send you some. We've got loads of pictures of sitting on the rock. But when the tide's in, it looks like it's in the water, so it's actually quite terrifying.
Bloody, it looks really good. I like it. I was like, what the hell is this? So you said that you went there when you were like a kid a lot of the time. Yeah. So what did you get up to as kids? It's kind of a family place, is it?
Yeah, we used to, they do this, I don't know if they still do it, but they do this thing where you can ride around the island on a bike. So you hire a bike and it's like a perfect circle. You just go around in a circle and there's loads of things to see. So we used to do that. There's the Crocodile Rock, and then there's other rocks as well around the island. There's a rock, I'm sure it's called Indian Rock. And I think it was the same person has painted like a Native American painting on the front of it, so it looks like a face. So there's like things like that to see, but that's huge. That's like on the side of a cliff. Wow. You can see that. There's Lion Rock, which is just like a big rock that comes up for the hillside. It looks like a lion. So we used to do that. We used to just cycle down the island and like see the cows and like stop at the beach, collect seashells, or that kind of cutesy family stuff. Uh-huh. And then we would just go for like a wee lunch in a wee pub somewhere, and then just sit on the beach for a while and go home.
Oh, so you didn't stay there either? You were just there for...
I've actually never stayed. My dad's... They used to take my dad and my uncle when they were young as well. It was like a family thing. They stayed quite a lot in like B&Bs and stuff, but we've never stayed. We've just... Because we had the car and stuff when we were young, we used to just pop back on the ferry and come home.
Mm-hmm. I like the sound of it being like a perfect circle, because I think it's apparently called like the Island of 1,000 Bicycles, because it's just, I don't know whether they've got 1,000 of them they can rent. I'm not sure why, but it's just like this beautiful. It must have been beautiful. I loved riding when I was young.
Honestly, it's a really beautiful. The wee island is beautiful in general, but that ride, that side, I don't think I could do it at this age. If I'm being honest, I think I would be like, right, get the car. But it honestly is. It's beautiful. The only thing that I would say is we had an incident on one of the bike journeys. My dad was standing too close to a tree, and like puffins attacked them. And I don't know if like there's puffin mating season or something like that, or puffins have their eggs or something. My dad got attacked by puffins, so there's puffins on the island as well.
Oh, I've never seen a puffin close up.
Yeah, they're so
Maybe
cute.
Don't want to see them that close.
But they're very aggressive.
Are they? They're only teensy little things as well, aren't they?
I think it's maybe been nesting season or something like that. And my dad's just got too close. But yeah, there's loads of wildlife. There's rabbits, deer. There's a lot of farmland as well on the route, so you can stop and like pet cows and stuff like that. And there's horses, so it's a really beautiful wee journey, wee adventure.
And did you do anything else? Do you remember anything else? Do you remember visiting a wee cathedral or anything there? Apparently they've got the world's or the island's smallest cathedral. The smallest cathedral in the UK is on the island. Do you remember that?
I've honestly, we never really did touristy things. We just went there because it was our whole families went there since they were small, and that was the majority of what we do, is just sit on the beach, collect shells, crabs, the bikes and stuff. But I do want to go back as an adult, so I'll definitely be writing some stuff down and checking it out when I'm there.
Oh, aye, that'll be good. It'll be good to have you back on and find out the difference of when you were a kid and what it's like now. That'll be cool.
Well, definitely be no bike rides, I'll tell you that.
Is it not flat or is it bottom hilly? Is it like hill?
Some of it's flat and it's not big steep hills, obviously, but it's an incline.
It's an incline. No, I'm not a fan of inclines.
No,
Can you get these electric ones now?
Probably. It's funny because me, my sister and my cousin we were like a wee threesome when we were young, and my uncle, who used to take the car, he would drive around the island beside us in the car on the bikes just to make sure we were all right. And every time my cousin and my sister would just get up and put the bikes in the boot and they would just get in the car and I would just begin reminiscing.
Oh, you're joking.
I was like, I'm not getting up. I'm not doing it.
You sound like my sister. She's like that. I remember her doing something similar. They would follow her with a car and she just would keep on going.
Yep. I just loved it. I just loved being outdoors and the fresh air and the wildlife and the greenery. I love all that.
And it's different, I suppose, from where you are in Glasgow. Like you say, it's like a city and then you're out in the country. Just it's not far away. It's not like 4 hours up the road. It's like over the water, isn't it?
Yep, in Glasgow, it's just buildings. You don't really see the sky. I know that sounds crazy, but I can't look at my window right now and see the sky. There's just buildings, but when you're outside and you can actually look up and see the sky and the stars and stuff, it's so alien to people that live in the city.
Aye, the stars, because you don't see that when you're in the built-up areas. But there's so many of them.
I know. Beautiful. I went to Yorkshire. A couple of years ago.
What was that for?
I ended up with sepsis. So from the water, no shade to Yorkshire, but yeah, I was stupid. I didn't realise that you couldn't drink water in England. Well, some parts of England. I didn't know that. Just being in Scotland my whole life and no ever travelling to England.
I didn't know that either.
I got really, really, really ill, and I ended up having to be hospitalised when I came home, and I had sepsis. So. All
right then, so you're definitely a Scottish girl. You're staying in Scotland.
No shade, Yorkshire, but come on. But yeah, when I went to Yorkshire, the stars, I was see just the stars, being able to see the sky like that. It was so alien, which is just bizarre.
I know. It's a big world out there, isn't it?
Yep.
I know you're only there for the day. Did you ever be part of the Raft race? Apparently there's Raft races there every year. Have you ever done that?
Is that where you build the rafts?
I think so. It's really competitive. There was only 7 people last year, I think, but they were really down to the wire. They were going for it.
I've seen that on the news and stuff, but I've never actually done it. I think my dad and my uncle might have did something like that when they were young. I'm sure I've seen pictures of them on the beach building stuff.
I think it's from Largs to Millport.
I don't know. See, I've just got so much to learn.
No, get yourself over there as an adult.
Oh, well. I'll report back.
So anyway, Stefanie, it's been really, really great speaking with you and hearing about Cromarty and Millport. So can you tell everybody, if they want to hear your lovely voice more, where they can find Scottish and Scared?
So if you just go to our website, scottishandscared.com, you'll find all our links on there. Our Instagram's on there, everywhere that you can listen to it is on there, all the links. But yeah, just your usual Apple, Spotify, Google Play, all that kind of stuff. That's where you'll get us. And you can follow us on Instagram. That's where we put up a lot of stories and stuff there. And just things that we're up to, events that are coming up, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
So that was my wee chat with Stefanie about Cromarty and Millport, 2 of our favourite places in Scotland. While I think Stefanie did a fantastic job painting a picture of Cromarty and Millport, here's some further information for you. Firstly, about Cromarty, which, according to Wikipedia, is a town situated at the tip of the Black Isle on the southern shore of the mouth of the Cromarty, and is about a 40-minute drive north of Inverness. And according to cromartyartstrust.org.uk, Cromarty is the Highlands' best preserved historic town, having 209 listed buildings, including a lighthouse which was built by the uncle of Robert Louis Stevenson, who wrote the novel Treasure Island. There's also a thatched cottage and museum which was the birthplace of Hugh Miller, who was a 19th century geologist. There's also an 18th century courthouse museum you can visit, which, according to cromartycourthouse.org.uk, you can come face to face with a tough Highland justice of the time, visit a prisoner and take part in a trial. It also has many exhibitions and collections to see. If you're a cheese lover, you'll also find in Cromarty an award-winning cheese shop, where, according to scotlandbucketlist.com, you will find a great selection of authentic Dutch cheese. Now, if you're tempted to visit Cromarty after hearing about Stefanie's visit there, then you might be interested to know that every March the Cromarty Film Festival takes place, where you can expect to see a variety of different films, from well-known short independent films and those by Scottish filmmakers. Next up is Millport. I personally really enjoyed hearing about the Lion Rock, the Indian Rock and the Crocodile Rock, which have been around for about 100 years, and cycling around the island of Cumbrae sounded idyllic. According to millport.org, the island of Cumbrae is referred to as the island of 1,000 bicycles, simply because Cumbrae is a paradise for cyclists. The island of Cumbrae is located off the west coast of Scotland, about 36 miles or 58 kilometres west of Glasgow, so quite near if you fancy a day trip to Millport. And during the summer months, the PS Waverley, which is the last seagoing passenger-carrying paddle steamer in the world, calls at Millport twice a week on trips from Ayr and Glasgow. As well as visiting the iconic rocks while you're visiting Millport, there's also, as I mentioned, the smallest cathedral in the UK to visit, as well as the Garrison House, which is not far from the cathedral, which was built in 1745, and it also houses an impressive model railway. There's also a home called the Wedge to visit, which, according to jacksaltstays.co.uk, was in the Guinness Book of Records for being one of the narrowest houses in the world, at 47 inches or 119 centimetres. Although it has now lost the title of being the narrowest in the world, it still holds the title for being the narrowest house in Britain. Sadly, you aren't able to go inside this house. Elsewhere on the island of Cumbrae, jacksaltstays.co.uk recommends visiting the Gladestone, which is located at the very top of the island and will give you 360-degree panoramic views of the island. And what about events? Well, I mentioned the Millport Raft race in my chat with Stefanie, and after a 2-year break, it began again in September 2023, where, according to largsandmillportnews.com, hundreds watched 7 raft teams compete from Kames Bay to the Pierhead. If you're more interested in dry land events, then there's the Millport Vintage Scooter Rally that also takes place over a weekend every September, with the weekend being packed with scooters and bands. Well, I hope you enjoyed hearing about Cromarty and Millport from Stefanie. If you'd like to hear more about Scottish haunted castles, ghost stories and mythological creatures, then, as Stefanie said, you can find Scottish and Scared wherever you get your podcasts. You can find all links to everything mentioned in this episode by visiting cluranton.com/Scottish Digest. We hope you join us next time for another wee slice of bonny Scotland.